In 2014, I wrote an essay entitled The Four Fatal Errors of Sedevacantism. But as the title of the essay says, the four fatal errors of Sedevacantism, I argued in the essay that Sedevacantism cannot overcome these four errors. The first error was that the Sedevacantists, they have what I call a disordered mass nostalgia. They have a disordered mass nostalgia. They have an unhealthy obsession of the mass that was promulgated by Pope Pius V in 1570. Right? And these people love that particular rite of the liturgy more than they love the liturgy itself, more than they love the essence of the liturgy. And as I explained in my book, The Divine Symphony, an escortium to the theology of the Catholic Mass, as I explained in that book, that all liturgies, of which there have been many, of which there have been hundreds over the past 2,000 years, all of the liturgies, all of them, all the liturgies, all bring the one, Jesus Christ. That's what they do. That's the essence of the Mass, the essence of the liturgy. Many delivery methods of the one essence, of the one Jesus Christ. But the Sedevacantists, they don't accept that. They think that the Mass of Pope Pius V is the only way to truly receive the fullness of Jesus Christ and what the liturgy is trying to convey. They won't admit that. But their obsession, their cliquish nature, their liturgical elitism is evidence of their actions and therefore thereby proof of the fact. These people in this sense, in this era, they remind me of those Protestants, those King James Bible only Protestants, right? Who think that the King James Bible is the only authentic word of Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, it has to be the King James Bible only. And these people are the same way. Oh, it has to be the Mass of Pope Pius V, or it's not real, right?
So, with this proliferation of the traditional Mass, there grew up a dislike, even an abhorrence for the new Mass and Vatican II in general. And that's inevitable, because the traditional Mass teaches the traditional theology, the traditional doctrine of the Mass, the Blessed Sacrament, the priesthood. It's inevitable. So this is not a question of two rites coexisting. This is a battle of two religions. The Catholic Church is no stranger to diversity of rites. There were always many rites in the Catholic Church, both in East and West. You may not realize it, but there are many Western Catholic rites, such as the Dominican rite, the rite of Lyon in France, the Ambrosian rite in Milan, the Norbertine rite, and before St. Pius V, there were even others in the Middle Ages, the Sarum rite, the Mozarabic rite in Spain, the Sarum rite in England. And in the East, there are many, many rites in many languages. And at a certain point, the Church even authorized the Chinese Missal. In the 17th century, authorized the Chinese Missal. The Church is no stranger to many rites, and its unity is not in any way offended by these many rites, because they all speak the same language, so to speak, in this sense, that they all are telling the same religion. They are teaching the same truths. Even though you would not recognize these Masses, nonetheless, if you looked at the prayers and you looked at the rites and all of the gestures, etc., you would see the Catholic religion in them. But what the Church cannot tolerate is a diversity of religions. Absolutely not. It is the one true Church. And its first duty is to teach the doctrine that has been handed to them to the church by Christ. The problem between the new Mass and the traditional Mass is they are teaching, that is, telegraphing, two different religions with contradictory doctrines and incompatible disciplines. The traditional Mass telegraphing everything that you see in a traditional catechism about the holy sacrifice of the Mass and about all of the truths of the Catholic faith. It is the product of the Catholic Church for many centuries, just like a great tree that has grown over many hundreds of years. A beautiful thing that has grown gradually. Whereas the new Mass is the invention of modernists. They have stripped out of it all of the typically Catholic doctrines and have made it a generic Christian rite. That is clear in Father Cekata's book, The Work of Human Hands. He did a study, a detailed study of every single oration in the Missal, that is, the prayer that comes before the epistle, the secret prayer, and the post-communion prayer, and pointed out with footnotes and all the references necessary so that you can check how they stripped these orations of Catholic doctrine so that now they're just a vanilla-flavored Christian prayer. And don't forget, that was done with the help of six Protestant ministers. The new Mass. So each has had its effect. The traditional Mass has made Catholics in their hearts of those who attend it. They learn from it. They learn to love the traditions of the Church. The new Mass has been a faith killer. To 80% of those who attend the new Mass do not believe in transubstantiation, do not believe that the Blessed Sacrament is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. 80%. Why is that so? Because they treat the Blessed Sacrament, what purports to be the Blessed Sacrament on the Novus Ordo altar, as nothing but a piece of bread. Little by little, they indoctrinated through these changes that they wanted to see happen. And so they came up through the ranks. They had the uniform of the Catholic Church on. They were elected and appointed to positions of authority. And they did their damage once they got in. So the logic is clear. Either Vatican II and its reforms are a continuation, a substantial continuity with pre-Vatican II Catholicism, or it isn't. There's nothing gray in between those two things. Either it is Catholic or it isn't. If all those reforms are Catholic, if they are continuous substantially with what went before, then what we are doing here today is a mortal sin. It's schismatic. If it is not Catholicism, then the Church must resist it and pit itself against it with the greatest energy that it has in it. More than it resisted any heresy in its history, its 2,000-year history. This is the worst heresy to attack the Church. St. Pius X said it. Pius XI said it. Ecumenism is a grave error which shakes the very foundation of Catholic doctrine. And he said to organize meetings where there are these ecumenical meetings that we've seen, like Assisi and many, many others, is equivalent to abandoning the religion revealed by God. Pius XI, 1928. That is what is facing us. This reduces the church to dust if we let it go.